Alright everyone, we have not one, not two, but three new Jurassic World Alive bosses. We're going to be starting with the Spinosaurus one, which is very awesome. It's a brand new Spinosaurus. I think, there's three different patterns of Spinosaurus Rebirth in the game now. We've got the original one, of course, which is this one. Then I think the new one they added is this, or at least that's what's on the card. I'm not sure, we'll unlock it soon. And then, of course, this is, well, obviously it's not fully gold, but the more gold sale is the boss one. So, yeah, it looks very, very awesome. It's very fun. Yeah, this is just great. Apparently, this might be one of the last Isle of Trials. These are the final bosses, which makes sense because, you know, we've already had T-Rex and Mutadon, and then T-Rex and Spinosaurus. What a way to end it off, you know, the two apex predators. Although I guess Dinosaurs Rex is more the apex predator now, but still, my statement stands. Anyway, this is on the beta build. I've been really busy, so I haven't had much time to check out the beta build, but I got an email. There was like a last minute calls to join on the beta build. I was like, you know, I've got a bit of time, I'll go check this out. And it was worth it because these bosses are just so awesome. This is probably one of the best Isle of Trials ever, honestly. Because, yeah, obviously, normally with the Isle of Trials, we get just the one boss, and we fight it 3 times. You know, so for the first one, we had Dinosaurs Rex, 3 versions of it, although they all look the same. Then the second one was 3 Mutadons. This time, it's 3 different bosses, of course, as I said. This new Spinosaurus, well, kind of new, it's repaint, but so, yeah, it is new. And then the Rebirth Velociraptor, which is awesome. I love the Rebirth Velociraptor paint scheme, very Jurassic Park 3-esque. And then, of course, T-Rex, which I believe is the final boss of the campaign, which makes sense, because realistically, if you take the Spinosaurus from Rebirth and the T-Rex is definitely beating it. Sure, if you had 4 of the Spinosauruses, they would probably beat the T-Rex, but the T-Rex in a solo fight is definitely beating the Spinosaurus. So I would think T-Rex is probably like the second strongest thing on Isle St. Hubert next to Dinosaurs Rex. But yeah, I kind of want to have as much fun with the teams as possible, so I just put in, you know, either Rebirth related stuff, or for this I put in the Spinosaurus, even though it was level 6, and the Spinoceratops. I was like, you know, we're versing the Spinosaurus, we have to use some components of that. And I believe in the raptor fight, we'll probably use some, I'm sure there's going to be some raptors to use, so we'll check that out. But yeah, this fight, it's very awesome. Can you imagine, you guys, soon when they add, I'm not sure if they'll ever add this boss as an actual playable creature, considering we've got, you know, this one and this one. But if they do, then we can basically have all 4 Spinosauruses, because obviously this one, what I believe is the Gen 2, at least that's what's on its card, it has this sail, and we know the third Spinosaurus is basically this one, but with a dent in the sail. So realistically, you can just do a raid with 2 of these and pretend one is the Spinosaurus with the dent in its sail before it got that dent. Of course, we have the Spinosaurus Rebirth Gen 1, and then I assume if they ever add this Gen 3 as an actual playable creature, which, I mean, they've got a whole separate card for this boss icon, so I assume they would, right? Yeah, once they add that, we can just do, you know, 1 Spinosaurus Gen 1 Rebirth, 2 Spinosaurus Gen 2 Rebirth, and then 1 Spinosaurus Gen 3 Rebirth in a raid, and you can have all of the Spinosauruses. It would be very cool to use them against D-Rex, but then again, D-Rex is an incredibly hard raid, unless we're doing it in, you know, Isla events, I guess, you know. Then again, we can't use all 4 Spinosauruses because we need a friend to join in to have a different Spino. So it would have to be, I don't know, like a legendary raid you'd do or something, but I guess Indominus Rex would be kind of fun to do with these, or Scorpius Rex. But yeah, there we go. That is our first boss, taking out Spinosaurus. And also, there's a few bonus darting things, so I'll show you them. There was one for Mutadon, and I never made a video on Mutadon, so I figured, you know, we'll sneak it in now. Dinosaurs Rex, I think, which is like the first time we get to dart Dinosaurs Rex, and also one for T-Rex Rebirth, so I was like, yeah, why not? And they were incredibly easy, so I figured, yeah, it's just a couple of seconds. But here we have Velociraptor Rebirth, very fun stuff. I love this design. The Lego one does not do it justice. I really need the Mattel one. I'm waiting for that wave 2 of danger packs to release. Although I do believe the paint scheme is a downgrade from what was in the car pack and the Zora Bennett pack. I would still like a Velociraptor Rebirth. And then again, it is confirmed we're getting a Hammond Collection Mutadon and a Rebirth Dilophosaurus, so I assume we'll get a Rebirth Velociraptor at some point. It's like, it has to happen, honestly. And that would just be so awesome, because I do have the orange Velociraptor. Let me pull it out. Thanks to my friend Site C, they got it for me. And this is an awesome one. I think it's better than the... I don't think the paint scheme's better than the grey one, but the mold is. It's a more normal Velociraptor, because the grey one's in more of a forced crouching pose. You can't really change it, but this one is just a normal kind of pose. I wonder if they'll ever add this one to Jurassic World the game. It's pretty much just a simple Rebirth grey Velociraptor repaint, so I feel like they could, which makes it interesting, you know, but because this is apparently the last Isle of Trials. I don't know, they might change that, there might be more, but yeah, there's obviously still a ton more Jurassic World Rebirth creatures they could add. Quetzalcoatlus, understand why they didn't add it, because creatures with the more feathery aspects are harder to add, so they'll be making that model from scratch, as you've noticed with what, because if you look, all the models that aren't feathers, they're quite easily copied from the movies. Like Giganotosaurus, you'll see that's the exact same as in Jurassic World Evolution, but everything with the feathers, I feel like I've said this before, but you know, if you look at Pyroraptor, it's very different from Jurassic World Evolution. Same with Tyrannosaurus, Quetzalcoatlus, Gen 2, so yeah, there is all that. But no, I am curious, will they add this? And an important one, a Neurognathus Rebirth. Could we ever get that? I reckon we could, mainly in Jurassic World the game. I reckon it could be fused with Aquilops to make the Aquinathus Apex hybrid from this Jurassic World Live game. I reckon that would be cool, because, you know, Aquinathus is green, so it would make sense, you know, considering Aquilops in this game isn't really green, it's more orange, but I guess its hybrids are green, so it makes sense. But anyway, let's dart the D-Rex. It's time to dart the D-Rex, you guys. Look how just huge it is. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I do believe throughout this campaign, I did kind of try to skip through it as fast as I can just to get to the bosses, but I believe there's some cool aspects where you can dart like Tyrannosaurus and the Quetzalcoatlus Gen 2. Even though it's not the Rebirth one, it's still cool, you can dart it, because obviously that's what they tried doing in the movies. It would be cool if there was like a, you know, Mosasaurus you could dart it, but not get its DNA for. So obviously the Isle of Trials have showed you can do that, and not get the exact DNA of that creature, if that makes sense. So I feel like there could have been like a small little Mosasaurus side quest that you could have done, but this is the last Isle of Trials, so I feel like it's a bit late for that. But anyway, we are on to the boss T-Rex. Very awesome. Figured I'd use some you know, fun creatures here. Obviously we got some Rebirth things like the Aquilops and the Mutadon, and then of course Spinosaurus. Have to do a Spinosaurus versus T-Rex fight. After all, that's what the thumbnail of the new Jurassic World Live thing is. I love that Jurassic World Live thumbnail. The, what is it? The Spinosaurus going up against the T-Rex. That is so awesome, because we never got a fight in the movie, especially not this. I really do think the Spinosaurus would lose in that. It would need its friends, definitely. As you just saw, Spinosaurus aegypticus is down. But yeah, I also did bring in Mortem Rex, because, you know, it is a Rex. Makes sense to go up against the Rebirth Rex. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty easy one. For the final battle, Rebirth T-Rex is taking out pretty quickly. But of course, I did do the easy mode and not the hard mode, because I did want to try and get to the bosses as quickly as possible for this video. And, you know, I do have quite a few things I am working on, so I would like to get back to, but this was definitely worth spending some time on to check out these bosses, because they're all just so awesome. Congratulations to the Jurassic World Live team, because this final Isle of Trials is peak if they do plan to make it the last one, which would be fair, because all they have to do is just rotate the bosses, and I assume like it wouldn't be that boring really, because, you know, you do the T-Rex Isle of Trials, then you switch it to Mutadon, then you switch it to this one, and I think, you know, players aren't really going to get bored, because it'll be a bit of a switch up. Sure, it will be a repeat, but it will be a repeat after like months on end, where people are probably like, oh, I'm kind of missing this Isle of Trials. Yeah, Velociraptor Rebirth is here, which is awesome. I genuinely love that mold so much. I'm so glad Jurassic World Alive gave us these, because obviously Evolution didn't, but Jurassic World Alive, they gave us such awesome Rebirth models here. They're just so awesome. I do believe they're generally straight from the movie, because I mean, you just look at them, they're so accurate. It's so awesome. But yeah, now we can have a full Rebirth team. That is so awesome. Have a look at that. 4 on top and 4 legendaries on the bottom. So cool. But yeah, watch up here for more, and I'll see you later. Bye everyone.